In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can make this sneak cover system. So when you are next to a wall, you can press the letter E on your keyboard and you can attach the character to the wall. You can also move to the sides, left and right. And there is also the idle pose where the character is going to be standing still like this. You can press the Ctrl to make the character to crouch. And the character is going to play the idle animation. You can move your character to the sides. And you can press Ctrl again to stand up. And you can also sneak with a smooth camera when you are aiming. There's going to be like a smooth camera focus when you are aiming. And the character is also going to play the animation of aiming as well. And the cool thing about this is that you can move through corners, and I'm gonna be teaching you how you can do this. You can also crouch when you are moving. So the first thing we're going to do, we're gonna get the event tick, and let's get it to a branch. I'm going to promote this condition to a variable, and I'm going to name this variable name to be can trace exclamation mark. Now I want to get a capsule trace for objects. And here on the viewport, as you can see here, I can see my character visually. As you can see, I have an arrow here. You can simply add an arrow by going here on add. You can type here the name arrow, and you can simply attach it to the character. I don't need to do this because I already have mine here. So all you gotta do is just drag and drop the arrow to the mesh. So it's going to attach it. Another thing that you have to notice is that the location on the Y is set to be 7 and on the Z is 100. So keep that in mind. Alright. Here on the radius of the capsule trace for objects is going to be 41. And here on the half height is 30. You can promote all this. You can promote object types and draw debug type to variable. Compile. We're going to add a new object type here. Compile again, save. And yeah, now let's drag and drop our arrow component. We're going to get the socket location. So it's going to grab the location of this arrow here. And we're going to plug that into the star, but before that we're going to subtract it. I think we're going to subtract. At least that's the way I did it. Can trace. Here on the draw debug type, we can choose to be for 1 frame. So now you can see the line trace, the capsule trace. And as soon as I approach a wall like this, it turns to be green. So that's what we want. Trace color is going to be white. Alright. And this, be sure to disable this default value to be disabled. And here on attach, we're going to get the 1 key and replace it to be the E. So whenever I press the letter E, I'm going to set the can trace variable to be enabled. Why I do that is because I want to enable the capsule trace for objects. I don't want the capsule trace for objects to be run at every frame. So that's why I did this. And let's get a delay. Set it to be 0. It's very important to set it to be 0 because you're gonna get some delay when you press the letter E. And I want to create a new variable called wall detected, exclamation mark. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to put it into a branch. And whenever this variable is true, whenever we hit the wall and the capsule trace turns to be green, that's the moment when we turn this variable to be true. So you can get a branch here, and whenever this branch is true by this condition, it's going to set the wall detected to be true. Now out of hit, we're going to break the hit results of the wall, and we're going to promote the normal to a variable and also the trace end. Now out of the sphere normal, we're going to get the rotation from X vector, and now we're going to break rotator. We're going to add 180, and now we're going to promote it to a variable. I'm going to call it fixed character rotation. I'm going to plug that in and collapse everything to a node. And I'm going to call this to be wall rut. I'm going to compile, and I'm just going to organize it a little bit. I'm going to plug this in, add pin to the node, and finally add also this pin to the node. And you can do this like that. Now we can do a branch and create a new variable called fix rot real time. I'm going to get this variable, and we're going to set actor rotation when this variable is true. I'm going to split this structure pen. I'm going to connect this to there. I'm going to drag and drop the fixed character rotation and choose it to be true. Get my character in the wrong angle, for example, facing the wall. If I press E, then the character is going to rotate automatically facing the wall direction. Now what we want to do next is to make the character to like go left and right depending on what direction you go. For example, like this, when the character is facing the wall, and I want the character to be able to not move backwards like this. So I'm going to get my character movement and set orient rotation to movement, and also set use Ctrl desired rotation, and set max walk speed. You can pretty much compile all this to a node, collapse to nodes, and you can say speed slash rotation. Here in max walk speed, you can set it to be 100, and there we go. So let's test it out. So as you can see, my character is, well, I think it doesn't change anything. Let me see if it's really running. Yeah, I think it doesn't really change anything, but let's check it out. Orient rotation to movement is true. Use controller desired rotation. If it doesn't work for you like this, then we're going to do another method that is going to work, which is by using this, which is by changing the values on the add movement input. So it's going to change the way the character behaves when you move to the left and right sides relative to the wall, of course. Well, I guess what we can do next is change the controls. So I'm gonna want to add a branch, but first we're going to get the wall detected. I'm going to get a branch. I'm going to promote the left, right, input axis, move right / left. I'm going to promote this to a variable. And I'm going to name this to be axis left, right. And plug that in. Oh, sorry. I have to plug this in there. This in here, this in there. I'm going to drag and drop the scale and split this and get the direction of y and y and x. For that, we're going to get the normal of the capsule trace that we've just added there. Capsule trace for objects. And on the x, I'm going to multiply by -1, so I'm going to get the -1. I'm going to get this value, but the negative side of it. So I'm going to add on the y direction, and the y is on the x. And that's pretty much how you do it. Let's press and play now. Let's see if the character is going to be sticked to the wall. As you can see, regardless of my camera movement, the character is also going to the left and right sides relative to the wall. I'm going to just copy and paste this, because if I press and play here, if I move backwards, I can, it's glitchy. I don't want that. I don't want my character to move backwards when I'm stick to the wall. So just a little correction there. All right, let's set up the detach. I'm going to choose the Q key to detach my character. Alright, let's get it to branch, and let's get the wall detected. Yeah, let's disable the can trace and also the wall detected. I also would like to reset the character speed and rotation, but for now I'm just gonna let it to be like that. I also want to turn off the fixed rotation real time, just to see what's gonna happen. Okay. Yeah, the character is going to be like this. I'm just going to copy and paste this, the end of the code. I'm just gonna say reset direction speed, and I'm going to, I think it's this one, has to be enabled. Yeah, but like, it seems like I'm flying. I think it's because of the speed. It's normal now. If you, well, the speed is going to depend on what's your character normal speed. For example, my character's default speed is 270, so I can choose it to be like that. So it's going to reset 270. So it's going to reset to this value when I detach my character from the wall. Yeah, I think it's normal. Now the other problem is that my character eventually detaches from the wall, and that's because we don't have like a function to pull the character towards the wall. So we're going to do that right now. So what I want to do is only when my character is moving to the left or right, I want my character to be pulled towards the wall. So I'm going to get a branch, and on this branch I'm going to add OR boolean. So this returns the logical OR of two values A or B. If we are moving to the left, then this OR, then the value that is in here is going to be true. Or when I'm moving right, this value is going to be true. So it's going to be executing this on and off. And for knowing which direction, if we are moving or not to the left or right, we're going to know it by this float variable here that I've just created. So if it's more than 0.1, that means that our character is moving to the right. And we also want to add the logic for moving to the left, less or equal than -1. Oh, sorry, -1. Like that. I think it's like that. All right. Now we're going to set actor location. I'm going to split. I'm going to get actor location. I'm going to split. Get it to the Z. I'm gonna plug it to the Z because I want to keep the same height of my character when we are pulling it. So to get the direction of where we want our character to be in, I'm going to get my actor forward vector. I'm going to multiply this, and I'm going to convert this to a float. Get actor location. I'm going to add this to another value like this, like that, like this, like that, like this, and then collapse it to a node. Then say, I don't know, math. Just a math to pull the character. Now we're going to set up our pull force. We can drag off this to the inputs, and this B is going to be like the pull force, and there is going to be a pull force, and then there is going to be the value that we're going to set up later. Pull force. Alright, I guess that's it. Just organize it a little bit, and boom, there we go. That's the equation for you to work on the pull force. All right. Now here you're going to choose the value between 1 to infinite, 1 billion, 1 million. I'm going to choose the value of 0.5 because I'm humble. So the purpose of this is to pull the character towards the wall. So let's see if it's working. I'm getting the opposite value for some reason. Let me see why. Some tests. Let's put it to be 0.5 positive. It seems to be working now. Alright. Yeah, I think the positive 0.5 worked for me, but if it doesn't work for you, then you can, get the opposite value, which would be negative 0.5. If I do, for example, -4, it's going to drag me away like you see, it's going to drag me away from the wall very fast. So I'm going to keep mine to be 0.5, and that's it. We finish this part. We're going to do the aiming in the future, so I'm going to add a is aiming variable, and I'm going to want to set this. I'm going to choose my right mouse button, the classic one. Now for crouching, I'm going to use my Ctrl key, my left Ctrl, and boom, I'm going to create a new variable called is crouching. I think we already have this variable by default, but just in case, let's create one. And also, if you go to the character movement, type here can crouch, and it has to be enabled. So if you're in your project, you might have to enable this option here. It's usually disabled by default. And I want it to make so whenever I press the left Ctrl, the character crouches, and when I press it back, my character goes to the stand position. So I'm gonna want to add a flip-flop here, because that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. I'm going to add the function of uncrouch, and I'm going to set the fix rot real time off. I'm going to set a delay. I'm going to enable it back. By doing this, you can avoid some bugs, but if you don't have bugs, you can do this. Just do the steps. If it doesn't work, you can remove this. You can remove this bar here. Let's do crouch, and we also want to set the character movement speed to be. Let's see, set max walk speed to be 130. There you go. Now I can just copy and paste this, and it should be 100. Now let's get the direction to be working. So I wanted to make so that my character can look at the direction of the based on what direction if I move my character to the right, the last one, I press the right mouse button. I want to make my character to look at the direction that was the last one. For example, when I move left and then when I press the right mouse button to aim, I want my character to be looking to the left, because that's the last movement I made. If I want to if I move my character to the right and I press the right mouse button, I want my character to aim to the right. I hope you understood. If you don't, I feel sad for you. Now, going back, okay, let's go back to the BPU4 character blueprint. I'm going to get the one key and duplicate it. I want to get this to be left. When I press A, I want to go to the left, and when I press T, I want to go to the right. Let's go to the right. And now I need to create a new variable called going left. New one, going right, opposite side. All right, let's drag and drop them. Going left and going right. If I'm going left, I want to enable this option here, this variable, to be true. And when I'm going right, I need to copy this and uncheck this one. Compile, save. Now let's go back to the UE4. That's my animation graph. Sorry, that's my event graph, where I have a lot of variables, and that's basically the backend. And here on the animation graph, I have my default locomotion, where I have my idle state, jump, loop, walk, run. It's just very simple. Now here on the UE4 character reference, we're going to begin play. This node here is going to execute everything that is inside of here, and it's going to execute as soon as you press play. So I'm going to cast to the BP UE4. So it's going to cast to my character, get player character, and promote it to a variable. I think I already have here, I already have the variable. So if you don't, you can just promote it to a variable and you're going to get this variable here. I'm going to compile, save. You don't need to worry about this code here, it's just a sound effects. And here on then 3, in my case, I'm going to add a isValid node. And on input object, we're going to drag and drop this variable here, but we're going to get, not set. And all right. Now what we want to do, we're gonna, on your project, of course, you're going to drag off this, and you're going to get all the variables that is inside that I already have here. And what you're gonna do is just basically get going left, for example, and you're going to promote it to a variable. And you're going to do the same for get going right, and just keep going. Get can't trace. Okay, this is going to take a while, so I'm going to speed up the process. I think I've picked up all the variables that I need to. So in your code, you're going to just right click and promote all of them to a variable, promote to variable, promote to variable. In my case, as I already have them, I'm just going to drag and drop them and connect the pins. Get going right, can trace, is aiming. Yeah, I think it's done. Now we're going to make this sneak standing. Here are all the animation assets that I'm going to use for the tutorial. BF, this is cover standing. This is the blend space that I did. It's very simple. Here on direction, I chose, yeah, this is just the name of that I chose, just to be direction. The minimum axis value is -1. The maximum is +1. Grid divisions is 4. Snap to grid is on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You don't need to worry about these values. It doesn't change much. But here on weight speed, it's going to be 2. Smoothing is enabled. So yeah, you can just drag and drop the animations by yourself. Here in the middle is just the idle animation, and yeah, you can just right click, go to animations and go blend space 1D. The blend space that I use is 1D. Now going back to UE4 ABP, I'm going to drag and drop the cover staining. Sneak staining. And here when the wall is detected, the wall is not detected. And the direction is going to be axis left and right. Let's see if it's working. It's on the opposite side. We can fix that by changing something here on rotation. Well, we can add a plus here, simply like this. Rotate 180. There we go. And the pull force is too much. The pull force is pushing me on the opposite side because I changed the side here, so my character is not going to the side before that it used to. Now it's going to the opposite side, so the pull force here is going to be negative 0.5, and let's see if that solves the problem. Okay, that seems to solve the problem. Okay, that's very good. Now we're going to add the sneak crouch. Okay. Now we're going to add the sneak crouch. You can create, oh, I don't know what you're doing there, but I think you're right. So if you go to preview the value here, you're gonna see that it's working. It's just the idle, I don't have the idle animation. But you can do by yourself. You can just get the pose of this and place that in there. Animation asset that I use is crouched cover left. Crouched cover left. And if you want to get a pose of this animation, for example, you can just go here, create asset. You're gonna go to create animation, and I think you're going to get from the reference pose or the current pose. I guess it's the current pose. So it's going to create an animation from the current pose, and let's say crouched idle pose. So it's going to create an animation for you, and you can place this animation in the blend space. Idle crouched idle pose, and then you can place that. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't know what's happening, but that's kind of the way I did it. You can try it out. The weight speed is 2, and direction minimum axis values are the same as the other one. And yeah, let's see how this goes. You can drag and drop that. Sneak crouch, and you can remove off that. All right, we can only go from the position, from the state movement of sneak staining to sneak crouch when we are pressing the Ctrl button. So when we are pressing the Ctrl, we're going to know that this variable is true, and we're going to get it, and I'm going to add an end, and we're going to also check if the wall is detected. All right. I'm going to connect this, and for going back, we only need the crouch, not boolean. So if crouch it's not true, if it's false, then it's going to go to the transition, back to sneak staining. So here, let's see. Let me simulate to see what's going on. What's going on? Is crouched. Oh, I don't have the is crouched variable. So I'm going to get is crouching. I think it's crouching. I'm not sure, but I just set it, and I think now it's going to work. Yeah. Now we're missing the direction. All right. The character is snappy between the poses. We can fix that by going here. You can click on the condition state, and here on the duration of the blend we can choose it to be 0.5 for both of them. So it's more smooth. It doesn't snap to the pose. And also the sneak staining, I guess we can also choose it to be 5. From idle to sneak. I don't know. Maybe. Let's try 0.3. All right. Now we're going to get the crouched idle cover right pose. Sorry, I named it wrong, so this is not left, this is actually right. So I'm going to rename it correctly. The asset is wrong, is named wrong. So no problem. And this is left. All right. There is also a idle cover left pose, but this is actually right. Let me check. Yeah, this is actually right. Well, let's fix these ones first. Let's do the states. All right. From sneak crouch to crouched idle cover right pose. What I want to do, we're going to get the going right. I'm going to get an and boolean. We're going to get the ground speed. And let's get the less equal. And I'm going to type .3. 0.3.3, and let's test it out. Yeah, just a little bit smoother, maybe .35. And here is more or equal than 0.3. Let's see if it's working. It's doing this glitch. It's because I added the idle there, so I can just remove it. So I can, maybe you can find a proper idle animation for this, but you don't need it, as we are doing this idle on a separate condition, states and condition for getting the idle animation to be playing on the character. We don't need to place an idle animation here. Yeah, that's way better. All right, you can try to mess up with these values. The blend settings, you can try to mess up with the blend settings and see which one works better for you. Now for the left, you're going to do the same thing. I'm not going to do it right now, it's just for the purpose of the tutorial. And for the aim right, I'm going to show you how I've done it. So if the character is going to, this is actually right. So I'm going to rename it to be right. This is going right. And get aiming. Yeah. Okay. Now for going back, we only need this is aiming to be not boolean. If it's false, then we can go back. Now if we're moving to the right, the character is going to sneak to the right. Then if we're moving left, the character is not going to sneak. So we're going to do the same thing as I did here to here. So you're going to place, the only thing that is going to change is that you're gonna be placing the going left instead of the going right on this side here. And that's how you do it. Now let's see what's missing. Now I think it's the FOV. Let's get the right mouse button. We're going to do a separate key for the time. Wait, is aiming. Aim. Aim. Yeah. We're going to add a new time. Add timeline. This is going to be camera lock. Stands for camera location. This is going to be play from start, and here is going to be reverse. So we're going to get the reverse value when we release the right mouse button. And here on update, we're going to set the relative location of the follow camera. The follow camera is the one component. Is a component that you can change also the field of view, the FOV. So check it out. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's double click on that and add a vector track, because we're going to change between 3 different axes. We're going to get camera. This is going to be camera vector. The length is going to be 0.70. And add key value to all curves. Let me see if, wow. Okay, time is going to be 0. The value is going to be 0 as well. And on 0.30, okay, add a key to X. And the time is going to be .31. And there's going to be also a key here. That is going to be 143. Like this. Now the y-axis one. Okay, I'm going to add a key. I'm going to add 3 keys for the y. The first one is going to be 0. The value is going to be 0. The time on the middle one is going to be 45. 45. And the value here is going to be -36. 36. And the time will be 70. I'm going to add the key interpolation to auto to all of them. There we go. Compile, save. And going back to my character blueprint, I'm going to just connect the pin. And let's test it out. Yeah. That's the result. Now we're going to change the camera FOV. Now for changing the camera FOV, it's easier. We're going to get, I'm just going to copy the same key here and add timeline. Set camera FOV. And I'm going to get the follow camera. Set field. Set FOV. And you have to know the current FOV value. Mine is 90. It's going to be a flow track, and going to be named FOV. The length is going to be 101.20. So the interpolation, the time where the animation that the FOV is finished, is going to run between this time frame, 1 second and 20 milliseconds. Okay, I'm going to add a new flow track. I think I've already added. I'm going to add a new curve, and the time is going to be 0. The value is going to be 90. And another one. The time is going to be 120, and the value is going to be 64. I'm going to add a auto key interpolation here. There we go. You can also add a curve here to get better control of the curve. Add a new key here to get a better control of the curve. And just be free to change the settings. See which one works better for you. Wow, that's insane. Let's go back to the event graph and connect this to this. Oh. That's the way to do it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Let me see if there is something else that I can teach. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye. So I want to thank everybody who subscribed to my Patreon. Miguel Guerra, Negative Potron, Shizing, Sambil, Mota, Vault 309, Morny, Derfritz Greg, Eric Cully, Victor Huget, George Perkins, Ken Skinlow, Shrink, Piper. Thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate it.